I think it all starts with communication. And funnily enough, I mean, it's a project that consists of 6 countries, none of which speak English as their native tongue, but regardless, we do speak English in the project. And I think communication is key. Like we really need to understand each specific country situations. We need to understand the customers in each country. We need to understand the broadest of sense of hydrogen value chain. So we need to understand that. And all of these interactions require a lot of communication and joint understanding. So we really need to understand how can we come very close to the customer? How can we come very close to the legislator, the regulator, and then the public altogether? I mean, hydrogen as such and infrastructure as such is very in touch with the customer and with the larger populace. So I think it's very important that, you know, you communicate and coordinate a lot with them. And I think that's one of the key elements. And maybe building on top of some of the mentions of policy, obviously, infrastructure and let's say the business side of infrastructure is very much regulated, especially, you know, if you look at natural gas, which is a good comparison in some sense to hydrogen, as it's a gas as well. I think there on the business side of things, as it's regulated, there's only a certain level of things you can do if you were to copy paste something directly from pre-existing markets, pre-existing infrastructure. Therefore, I think that's also a very important element, that we look for new ways to de-risk something as large and something as regulated as infrastructure. And I think here EU has taken good first steps. I think there's been, you know, discussions about an ITCA, or intertemporal cost allocation mechanism, which essentially ensures that the full costs of tariffs do not come full on day one for the first user, but rather assumes that a larger customer audience comes later on, and then we can, you know, gradually increase the tariffs to its natural level. And I think these type of examples are very important in the global sense to get infrastructure like the NBHC off the ground. So and focusing on the development of that regulative space and put it into legislation, giving that headrest to governments to you know, help de-risk these projects. And I think that's very, very key. And maybe to conclude, I think the hydrogen value chain is in large development, and there's always going to be uncertainties. There's always going to be risks. And I think, especially if you develop something as large as NBHC, I think you cannot let the small things get on the way, so to speak. So you need to push on and look at the big picture and make sure that, you know, you're there once you're needed, and kind of be like, there's a chicken and egg question always, that, okay, please bring the customers and then we'll build the infrastructure. While as then I'm sure Lee and Boris would agree that please build the pipeline and then we'll come. So I think there, again, a very, very important communication aspect where I think a Gantt chart is also needed. So making sure that the timeliness of things goes hand in hand.